Looking for the edge? Welcome to Tea Time to Overtime. From the first tee to the final whistle, we're serving up game day insights, expert analysis, and can't miss betting picks. Whether you're riding a hot hand, chasing the underdog, or just here for the love of the game, we've got you covered. Smash that subscribe button, drop a follow, and let's hit the action. Let's kick things off on the gridiron. The NFL never sleeps, and neither do we. Not much going on right now in the NFL. We have the NFL draft coming up here next week. So the way this show's kind of set up is really focused on the betting, on making sure that when the odds change, that's what we're reporting on, that's what we're doing. So my headlines to you all here today is Mr. Derek Carr with the New Orleans Saints. This is the only thing I found interesting that I felt like could affect the odds. So Derek Carr apparently has a shoulder injury that can possibly affect his 2025 season. So question is, will the Saints pivot or push through? Last year, for 7 games, we saw Spencer Rattler's rookie season kind of take hold, and it was a hello, welcome to the NFL kind of rookie season for those 7 games when Derek Carr was injured. So his stats, again, not terrible, but definitely room for improvement. So we have 1,317 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, a QBR of 40.3. So is there room to grow here? Absolutely, I believe there is. The Saints quarterback coach with Derek Carr, I think if Derek Carr is on the sideline, he's a very competitive guy. I think he will actually help out Spencer Rattler. So I do believe that the Saints can get better. They're in a very tough division with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Carolina Panthers, and who am I missing on the... the Atlanta Falcons. How do I forget about the Atlanta Falcons? Anyways, so they are in a very tough division, probably one of the tighter ones when it actually comes to the odds as well, but we will get down to that in a little bit. For now, Super Bowl odds. This is very early. We got some mini camps. We got, we'll get through some bold predictions here in a second, but this is the premature. Free agency has settled down. Let's go. Teams are pretty much set. Let's face it, rookies are not going to make any type of difference that is going to be drafted, at least not to the odds. It might actually in the long run. So right now you have your outright favorites. The Eagles plus 650, the Ravens plus 700, Kansas City Chiefs plus 700, Buffalo Bills plus 750, and the Detroit Lions at plus 900. I think that's a little smack in the face for the Detroit Lions, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. They were able to kind of keep that core group together in Detroit, so we will see what happens there. I would also say let's not sleep on the Bengals, the Commanders, the 49ers. We'll see what the Rams do. I mean, again, strong, kept it there. But, you don't have that dual threat with Cooper Kupp leaving them. So here we are. Bengals and Commanders plus 1750. Likewise with the 49ers, 1750. Then the Los Angeles Rams, Green Bay Packers at plus 2250. So I wouldn't sleep on any one of those other teams. We got some, after that, we start getting throw a prayer, maybe. Do it for the long chance bet, but, don't bet too much past that for it here. So the reflection of your Super Bowl picks obviously are going to go into the NFC and the AFC. So we're going to focus on the NFC real quick. We're going to go from the large picture down to the small one with the Philadelphia Eagles at plus 300. Obviously, they're favorites to be the Super Bowl champions this year. So here, obviously, they're going to be the favorite for the NFC. The Detroit Lions, and again, this is why I say the Detroit Lions got a little disrespected, because they are only a plus 425. They're right there behind the right behind the Philadelphia Eagles to win the NFC. So why does Vegas have the odds of, and granted, I know you're talking the top 3 teams in the AFC right there, but I thought the Detroit Lions, after seeing those, would have been more compatible or comparable to the Buffalo Bills. But anyways, as we digress, San Francisco plus 700, Commanders plus 8,000, and then the Rams and the Packers rounded at plus 1,000. After that, again, we're getting to some pretty convoluted stuff. Breaking down the divisions, here we have the NFC North. Lions, obviously the favorite at plus 130. The tightest odd division that we have. The South is a very close second, but the North is Detroit plus 130, Green Bay Packers 250, Chicago Bears at plus 450, and Minnesota Vikings at plus 475. Now we make our way down to the South. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus 110, Falcons 230, Carolina Panthers plus 425, and then the who cares, we don't care about the Saints plus 800. So Vegas, again, not showing them much love. I get it. Those three teams we mentioned before are a lot stronger on paper and more consistent on the field. Though, if you watch last year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're really the only ones there. But they're going through some coaching changes, so we'll see. East, Eagles, Commanders, that's it. Cowboys, Giants, rebuilding, so to speak. But Eagles minus 145 to win the division. Commanders plus 195. But I don't hate putting a bet on the Washington Commanders. I would not sleep on that. And then we go out to the West. Again, San Francisco, Los Angeles. Those are the two teams to take it. Plus 145. Rams are plus 165. Seattle Seahawks plus 575, Arizona Cardinals plus 600. Again, a couple teams kind of going through a little bit of rebuilding process. We'll see what the Cardinals can do. That would not, it would surprise me if they win, absolutely. But I just don't see it. I really don't. I think they will be competitive at one point or another, but then I think they're just going to fall back. No disrespect to the Cardinals. We're going to hit the AFC again. As we saw with the Super Bowl odds, very similar. Kansas City Chiefs, favorite to win, plus 325. Baltimore Ravens, plus 350. Buffalo Bills, plus 375. Cincinnati Bengals, plus 900. Los Angeles Chargers, plus 1300. So again, you're looking at those three primo teams who are most likely going to win their divisions. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what shakes up. I mean, Kansas City had a hell of a year last year. They won every single close game. Their record could have easily been abysmal, and they could have never made it to the playoffs, which would have been completely different from what we saw last year. So, heading through the divisions, the North, the Ravens, minus 135 to win the division. Cincinnati Bengals, plus 210. And we'll go hit pause real quick on that one, because I feel like any time you have a team that is favored to win the division at a negative, I feel like that is just an absolute smack in the face for every other team in that division. It's pretty much Vegas saying, you all don't have a chance. Again, we'll see how things shake up. This is all very premature. It's going to be fun to watch these as the season goes on, which will be launching that first week in September. So we'll see what happens. So again, North, to round it all out, Pittsburgh Steelers at plus 550, Cleveland Browns plus 3,000. A hope and a prayer. If you're that type of person, for the sucker bet, throw a little money on Cleveland Browns, but I would not recommend doing that. So, the South, we head down south to the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Tennessee Titans, plus 100, plus 325, and plus 800 respectively. So looking like it's going to be a decent race between the Texans, the Colts, and the Jaguars. So the Texans kind of keep their up there from last year. Again, we'll see what happens. I would prefer to throw a little money on the Colts or the Jaguars. Now, again, nothing against the Texans. It's hard to repeat. It's hard to win division multiple times. Forget the other guys. They're in weak divisions. The South in the AFC is not a weak division. So don't be surprised if you see the Colts or the Jaguars hit it there. Now, we go to the East. Buffalo Bills. Again, here's that smack in the face. Minus 250 to win the division. Next up, Miami Dolphins. Plus 500. That is a 750 difference between the two. That's just Buffalo Bills take it. Why should we even bother playing any games? Just give them some Joe Schmo record. Let's say, 12-3, or if you really want to make it saucy, maybe 11-6. Whatever. Because that's 2-4. I mean, that's 6 wins right there. Apparently, they're just going to sweep everybody. This caught my interest. New England Patriots plus 650. So right now we're saying that the Patriots are almost as good as the Miami Dolphins. Don't hate that. Don't hate that statement at all. And then the New York Jets, plus 1,400. Obviously, not as bad as the Cleveland Browns at plus 3,000, but still, Jets work on it. The West, again, here we go. Three out of the 4. And hell, actually, I'll even say all 4. Because the Texans are even money. Plus 100 to win the division. Granted, again, forget who's right there behind them, whatever the odds are for that one. Vegas has practically picked the winners of these divisions, and the rest of them are just sucker bets. So they're looking for a lot of money to go on Buffalo, obviously. And we all know it's not always the stats, it's the money that dictates a lot of these odds. So it isn't necessarily the team or the stats or anything else like that. You put down a cool $500,000 and that's going to change the odds one way or another, depending upon who is, where the money's going. Now, the West, Kansas City, minus 125. Give it to them. Los Angeles Chargers, plus 275. They might put up a little fight, but, Denver Broncos, plus 375. Raiders, plus 1750. Keep working on it, Las Vegas. Don't even have too much faith in their own home team here. So, as it's not football season, I don't really have any game day lines for you, which I do put out weekly when it's there. You will find those on either Facebook or Twitter, and that goes for everything. For the NFL picks, the NHL, and the PGA. You will find all my picks there on Saturdays and Sundays when the sports are live. So we're about to get into the NFL. But before we get that, let's kind of go over a couple of my picks. I'm not really going to make a Super Bowl prediction now. I will a little bit later on down the road as we get closer to the season. I want to see how the odds kind of fluctuate a little. But, when it comes to the NFC South, again, I love the Detroit Lions. I think they're going to be able to continue on as why can't I think of the words? For that big bet, for that, I don't know if they're actually going to do it. Los Angeles Rams, plus 1,000. I really like them as well. Division winners, Detroit Lions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Philadelphia Eagles, why not? And we're going to go with the Los Angeles Rams as well. AFC, the winner, Buffalo has to break through someday. They have to break through, so that's going to be a bold pick right here, right now. So Buffalo Bills to win not only the division, but also the AFC. And again, within that division, we'll get there on the East, throw some out there. But for the North, Baltimore Ravens, I think they'll take it again. The Bengals will, again, can they win the close games? Because the Bengals could have easily been the Kansas City Chiefs last year. They lost a lot of close games last year that could have easily propelled them into, a little bit of a better mindset. As Vince Lombardi says, winning is not a sometime thing, it's an all the time thing. You make it a habit of winning, you make it a habit of losing. It's plain and simple. So here we are. The South, like I said, the Indianapolis Colts, I'm kind of feeling them, it. I think the Colts will take that division. The East, Buffalo Bills, but the New England Patriots, don't sleep on them. They picked up some pretty good inquiries that if they're able to click, they will do well. I think they will actually continue to get better as the season goes along. And here we are in the West. Kansas City, I really want to see the Chargers do something, which they will. But again, I really want to take the Chargers, the Mr. Consistent team, the team that wins the games that they're supposed to, but doesn't always win the games that they're not supposed to. And that's what really separates those. Again, let's take Kansas City. The games they won were so close. They probably should have lost 5 games last year, Kansas City. But something happened. They won, and it's all great. So again, I'm gonna take the Chiefs to win it again this year, but the Chargers, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens. So those are my picks going into it. Those can change. Honestly, they might. But hey, episode 1, y'all. Welcome to episode 1. These are the bold picks. They might age well, they might not. We'll take a look. At the end of the season, we'll come back to episode 1. We'll play some clips and probably have a few laughs over all those as we go through. We go from the NFL to the NHL. We have the playoffs that just started. We have the schedule that came out yesterday. Again, go to my Twitter, at Luciferm1989, or X, whatever it is that you want to call it, x.com, formerly Twitter. Go there. You will find my, the schedule of the NHL there for anybody who is curious for all the game ones and when they start. So we have them started. I filled out my bracket. You'll see my bracket. You'll see the Tampa Bay Lightning taking it all this year. That's my pick. And FYI, they're a plus 1,100 right now. Or at the time of this recording, they are plus 1,100. So that is not somebody to sleep on. I like the Lightning. They are solid. They're consistent. They got a little hunt at the end of the season. Forget the last game. It didn't even matter. But a lot of those teams at the very end, besides the Montreal Canadiens, they were not, those last few games, honestly, really didn't matter. So here we are. Winnipeg Jets, they claim the President's Trophy for the very first time. Congratulations to Winnipeg. They, again, huge, it is a lot of respect. They played well through the season. Let's see what happens, especially considering Las Vegas has them at plus 1,000. I mean, they're nowhere near the favorite to win it. But anyways, moving on. Fun fact of the day. Somebody asked me, hey, what happened to the original six? And I said, what do you mean? They said they're not in the playoffs. I said, Canada is. They're all in the playoffs for the original six. USA, they all flopped. So this is going to be a really, really weird playoffs. The fact that we don't have the Rangers, the Bruins, the Red Wings, or the Blackhawks in the playoffs this year. That is absolutely nuts. First time ever not seeing one of those jerseys. And I might add, those teams I just listed off, I don't care what their record was. They win the President's Trophy, or they could have been the last team to get in. They are dangerous when they are in the playoffs. So this is going to make for a very interesting playoff round. But like I said, I got the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's my picks. I know kind of around the NHL. I'm excited. Playoffs are starting. It's going to be super cool. So give it the rundown of the odds right now. Colorado Avalanche are the favorites with the Florida Panthers to win the Stanley Cup at plus 750. Right behind them, Carolina Hurricanes at plus 800, Dallas Stars plus 850, which is a lot of people's picks. And I want to say I actually have the Lightning and the Stars playing for the Cup at the end of it all. Las Vegas Golden Knights plus 850 as well. Edmonton Oilers, Washington Capitals, both plus 950. Then your President Trophy winning team plus 1,000, Winnipeg Jets. Tampa Bay Lightning, as I said, plus 1,100. Maple Leafs plus 1,200. Might I add, one of the one seeds in the East. The curse of the Maple Leafs. I guess Vegas is riding that as well. So we'll see what happens. Los Angeles Kings plus 2,000. Ottawa Senators plus 3,500. Minnesota Wild, New Jersey Devils, St. Louis Blues plus 4,000. And the last team to get in, the Montreal Canadiens at plus 8,000. Good luck to everybody there. It's going to be a fantastic playoff. I know it is. But hit those socials for the winners of the series moving forward. Likewise for just, kind of weekend game picks going from there. So as we head into the Eastern Conference, we have the Florida Panthers at plus 350 to win it. Obviously, they're one of the favorites to win the whole entire thing, to win the Stanley Cup. Right behind them at plus 350, Carolina Hurricanes. Tampa Bay Lightning plus 400. Washington Capitals plus 450. Hold on to your hats because we have the Toronto Maple Leafs at plus 575. After that, boom, it's up. We don't care. This is the longest shot that you're going to do. New Jersey Devils and the Ottawa Senators plus 1,600 and the Montreal Canadiens plus 4,000. So here we are. You have a solid lineup, a solid stack. Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning going off in round one. That's going to be the make or break to a lot of the brackets that we have out there. But I truly think that that's going to be the Stanley Cup winner. I think the East is going to take the Stanley Cup again. So we'll move on to the West with the Colorado Avalanche at plus 380. Stars, 425. Again, don't sleep on the Stars. They are a great... I think we're getting great odds with the Stars. The Golden Knights, 450. Edmonton Oilers, 475. Winnipeg Jets, plus 500. Los Angeles Kings, plus 950. And now we're down to the I don't cares of the St. Louis Blues at plus 1,800, Minnesota Wild at plus 2,000. So here we are, again, very stacked, very close. But I really don't think that the West quite has the talent to go through when the Eastern Conference champion kind of meets them there. So again, nothing against the Colorado Avalanche, great team. They played well all season long, but the Dallas Stars, there's just a little something about them that I think a lot of people are sleeping on. So again, go over in my picks real quick. My Stanley Cup champions are the Tampa Bay Lightning. Obviously, I'm going to pick them for the Eastern Conference Championship too at plus 400. The Lightning are favored at plus 1,100 to win the Stanley Cup. And then in the West, I've got the Dallas Stars at plus 425. And if I don't have the Dallas Stars in my bracket, I need to go redo another one and then post it on that. But yeah, again, check out the social medias, Facebook and Twitter at LuciferM1989 or X.com, whatever it is that you call it. You'll find my picks there. And now, to the fairway we go. The Masters has wrapped, and Rory finally did it. Wasn't sure if he was going to or not, but congratulations to Rory McIlroy on winning the Masters and completing his career Grand Slam, joining 5 others. And when you're in the same conversations as Tiger Woods, Gary Player, and Jack Nicklaus, you're in great company. Again, congratulations to Rory. It was fun to watch. Again, it was the Masters. Only way to put it. That is one of the only, that's like one of the only tournaments where you're going to see something like that, excluding the other majors. Speaking of the other majors, is Rory going to do it? Is he going to do the career, or he's already got the career Grand Slam? Is he going to take all 4 majors in 1 year? Let's take a look. PGA Championship coming up May 15th through the 18th at Quail Hollow. The man has won there 4 times in his career. He's got a good shot of doing that. He has a great shot at Quail Hollow. It's a course that sets up very well for him. U.S. Open at Oakmont. He's played there once in his career. What'd he do? He missed the cut. U.S. Open is June 12th through the 15th. So Rory's going to go to Oakmont with possibly 2 majors under there. Will the pressure continue to be on? And then if he does win that, let's talk about the ultimate pressure. The Open, July 17th through the 20th at Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland, where he's from, where his friends and family are going to come and watch him for. That is the ultimate pressure. You win that, you win the year Grand Slam, you go down in history as one of very, very few. I can't even really think of anybody. I think Tiger Woods is the only one I can think of off the top of my head that actually won all 4 majors in every single year. So we'll see as the months go on. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch Rory. This might be the year of Rory, but we'll have to wait and see. As Rory takes front page, that means Scottie Scheffler is taking a backseat to Rory. Now, last year, Scottie had one of, if not the most impressive year of any PGA player in history. What he did last year was just phenomenal. It was astronomical. And I don't know why a lot of people are stressing for Scottie. He'll eventually get the win. He's not going to win 7 this year. No, absolutely not. He's probably going to win 2, maybe 3. One of those might be a major. But the man has played 7 events this year. He has made all 7 cuts. He has finished in the top 25 out of all of those events, in every single one of those events. He has finished in the top 10 4 times, and he was runner-up once. Scottie is fine. I don't know why everybody's stressing about him, but I bring this up because it seems to be hitting a lot of the news feeds coming through on the, for my PGA stuff. So I don't know. The man to watch right here is going to be Xander Schauffele this year. He might be it might be the return of it. But for those that don't know, he's battling, he came back from a rib injury this season, and you can tell that when he was getting healthy, he put a lot of effort into his short game. The man I feel like, can get up and down from almost anywhere on the golf course. It's truly amazing. It's absolutely wonderful to see Xander back and playing the way he is, because again, he's really not playing all that bad this year. So I think Xander Schauffele is going to be a guy to keep your eye on as we move forward. Someone who can, take a tournament, definitely go and compete in that, in the FedEx Cup in the top 30 as well. But the biggest storyline of the week, which dropped just a few days ago, was the PGA Tour suspended Wesley Bryan for participating in a live golf influencer event called the Duels of Miami. Okay, let's break this down, because we're going to get into a little bit of controversy here. And I'm going to give my opinion at the very end, because I'm just, this is like, I'm almost over it. I'm almost over this whole PGA live golf thing. So, this isn't technically a sanctioned live event. This isn't something this wasn't an official live golf tournament. Absolutely, it was an event that they did, but what it was content creators are taking over by storm. So I feel like Liv saw that opportunity and said, hey, let's invite some of the biggest YouTube golf creators and team them up with 6 live golfers. Sounds like fun. Well, for those of you that don't know, Wesley Bryan with his brother George have a YouTube channel with golf. Wesley doesn't really have his PGA card right now. He finished outside the top 100 of the FedEx Cup points. Sorry, I blanked there. But Wesley Bryan finishes outside the top 100 FedEx Cup points. So that means technically he doesn't really have his card. He's playing in tournaments, absolutely, but those are on more or less sponsored events. Now, there was a $250,000 purse to this event, the Duels of Miami, and George Bryan and Sergio Garcia won in a playoff over Bubba Watson and Luke Kwan. The duels from just one of those content creators by the name of Grant Horvat has nearly 2 million views on his YouTube channel alone. That's just his. That's not including anybody else's YouTube channel, including Liv's. There's 2 million views alone on Grant's YouTube page. So big shout out to him. It's got a lot of great videos. Again, there's no ads or anything going on in here. It is, if you're a golfer, it's a fun page to watch. It is really, really cool. So, according to multiple sources, the PGA Tour informed all the creators through a third party. They didn't personally do this. They said, hey, this is the PGA Tour. Can you guys kind of, go and tell these guys that they might get in trouble? So, PGA Tour doesn't even bother to just call them up and say, hey, there might be disciplinary actions, including being excluded from any PGA Tour affiliated events and content going forward. No, they had somebody else do that. So there's already a little frustration just on my side personally from that point of view. This was then later withdrawn for potential disciplinary actions against these content creators, except Wesley Bryan. Why they're singling him out, I have no clue. Especially after they make this suspension, they actually invite Grant Horvat to the Barracuda Championship, a PGA Tour actual tournament on the schedule. They're going to give him a sponsored invitation. So you're going to suspend one of your players who has been playing in the PGA for quite some time, and then because they played in this event, and then you're going to invite another content creator who played in this event to play in one of your I don't get it. It's very, very frustrating, and people are saying Live and PGA are nowhere near where they want to be. Whatever. The other thing that I don't get from this whole entire thing is, and I've never gotten this from the beginning, why does the PGA and Live have to be together? Why can't they just live separately in the golf world under the USGA? I don't understand why they have to do it. If they want to have fun, have some events where you have the best of the PGA with best of the live or the highest profile names, whatever. I don't care. Why is everybody making such a big deal about having another golf league and how they conduct it? It's like somebody going to somebody else's random business and saying, you know what? No, that's not right. You should be over here with this guy who's doing this thing, but it's different than yours. So I don't know why you did it different because we all do. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't. So please, somebody comment down there. Comment your thoughts. Make me, kind of help me get there to understand what is going on, why everybody is making such a big deal about them joining up. So, all that being said, let's head to some weekend action at the RBC Heritage at Harbortown. So, before tee off on Thursday, we had Mr. Scotty Scheffler, I believe won the tournament pass. I don't know why I don't have that in my notes here, but Scotty favorite at plus 400, Colin Morikawa plus 900, Ludwig Oberg plus 1300, my boy Xander Schauffele plus 1500, and of course Patrick Cantlay plus 1500. Again, all great golfers playing some great golf. So after round one, I went on to Hard Rock Bet, which is the gambling website that I personally used. I live in the state of Florida, so that's the only gambling app / website I can use in the whole state of Florida. So that's where all of my come from. Scotty Scheffler is still favored to win the RBC at plus 200. He's tied for second at 7 under and 3 back from Justin Thomas, who is a plus 250 and the leader at 10 under. Russell Henley at plus 900, tied for second as well at 7 under, 3 back from Justin Thomas. Wyndham Clark plus 2,500, fourth place, 6 under, 4 back. And then, and we're going to get to this here in a second, Patrick Cantlay plus 3,000, tied for 10th at 4 under and 6 back. So, Patrick Cantlay, and I understand he was, top 5 favorite for here, but he is favored to win over others that are tied with him who have just as well credentials, but career-wise, maybe a little bit better. So, Jordan Spieth is one of those. That is tied for 10th, 4 under, 6 back of Justin Thomas. Just like Patrick Cantlay, he has played 8 events. Jordan has made 7 cuts, as opposed to Patrick making 8 cuts, but they both finished 4 times in the top 25 and twice in the top 10. So now, this was the man who I thought should have that plus 3,000 as opposed to plus 5,000. And the guy not to sleep on is Brian Hardman. He's played 11 events. He's made 9 cuts, 4 top 25s, 1 top 10, and 1 win. He's playing solid golf. He's figuring out how to put 4 rounds into there. So that's a man, especially at plus 5,000 at the time of this recording. That is somebody who I do think maybe put a little money on. Somebody not to sleep. I wouldn't overbet it or anything like that one. So my picks can be found again on Facebook and x.com, formerly Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at LuciferM1989. This is where you can find me everywhere. But to make the pick here, and again, I love making picks here because we're going to see how well that they age. I'm going to stick with my boy Justin Thomas to win it, but not to sleep on Wyndham Clark or Brian Hardman. Okay, those two are playing great. Great golf, and I think they have a chance. Plus the odds that they're getting, I think it is worth a tiny bet. Just really quick, because I just learned this is for as like a gambling strategy, because I thought golf was very much kind of like betting the ponies. How you bet is very similar, but we'll do this next week where we'll go through a couple of matchups, 72 hole matchups, is what we'll kind of stick with, where you got two golfers pit against each other with a tie as an option, at least through Hard Rock Bet. That's what it allows. And then you'll see my Sunday picks as well for head-to-head. So when the group that's going off, boom, those are the guys that you will watch playing, and those are the guys that you're betting with, as opposed to the 72-hole round. You might have Scotty Scheffler and Colin Morikawa, who's going to finish better in the tournament. So you're not really seeing them playing together, maybe in the first 2 days, but unless they're fighting it out, you won't see them together. That's a wrap on this round of Tee Time to Overtime. From the greens to the ice and every yard in between, we've covered the plays and the odds. Think you've spotted the next big upset? Locked in a wild parlay? Let me know. Subscribe, rate, and follow for your weekly dose of insight, predictions, and betting picks. Play smart, bet responsibly, and enjoy the game. This is Tee Time to Overtime. See you next time.